gorgeous, hope you're having a great day. It's such a joy to see you. In this video, I am sharing some makeup artist tips with you that are not widely known. These are the lesser talked about tips. I don't know how I'm going to title this video just yet, but that's the idea behind it. So I tested these out and I'm here to share with you whether or not they really do work. First tip I have to share with you was one that was pretty eye-opening to me, and several of you have voiced this kind of complaint to me, so you might find this helpful. If you struggle with your primer creating clumps or balling up on your face as you are applying it, try not to apply it with your fingers. Instead, apply your primer, one of those makeup primer sprays. The reason why your primer may be balling up is because when you apply it with your fingers, it creates micro exfoliation, which I have experienced. Really annoying, but primer sprays really do help to eliminate that. Another tip I have to share with you is one that has been very effective for me. Pay attention to the ingredient sodium lauryl sulfate in your facial cleansers. This will dry out your skin. So if you struggle with dry skin, especially in the winter months, or if you have dry skin in general, that is a horrible ingredient to have in facial cleansers. And I've noticed that since I have eliminated it myself, I've had a lot less dry patches on my skin, and I've actually gone the way of oil cleansing to remove my makeup, and my skin has been thriving ever since. So highly recommend that tip. It does really make a difference. Another one I want to share with you is to tame your eyebrows. I was reading that you could take a mascara wand, spritz some hairspray on it, and run it through the brows, which makes sense because it's just hair above your eyes. It's no different, and it does help to keep everything in place. A lot cheaper than going out and buying a brow gel or a brow soap, which can end up looking flaky if you apply too much. It's just old-fashioned hairspray. It does the same thing. Another tip that I read that I tried out for this video was if you want to intensify your highlighter application, apply it wet. So I'm going to show you an example here with the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I'm first applying it dry on one half of my face so you can see what it looks like all by itself. It's a really beautiful highlighter, very subtle, nice on the skin. On the other side, I picked up some of the product on the brush, spritzed it with a setting spray, and then applied it on the other cheek. Now you can really see the intensity with the simple addition of the setting spray. It's more intense, it's more vibrant. So if you have a highlighter that's given you trouble in the past, or you really want to intensify your look, it's a great tip for doing just that. Now if you have textured skin, I have textured skin. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? But I mean, it's real skin. Most of us have textured skin, but you want to minimize the effects of it, especially with makeup, because makeup tends to draw that texture out more often than not. Something that you can do is to apply your powder with a damp sponge. So you damp your sponge, dip it into your powder, and then press it into your skin. And I've also found that rolling it into the skin is also highly effective. And this gives a airbrushed finish and looks flawless. I mean, look at that. That looks absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. And the sponge that I used, by the way, is this one from Real Techniques. It's the Miracle Powder Sponge, I believe it is. I'll have it linked for you below if you're interested in it. But it's a little bit of a fuzzier sponge compared to most other makeup sponges, and it does a beautiful job of setting the face. Another tip that I tried out for this video that I hadn't tried before, but it made a huge difference, was creating a wing by starting from the lower lash line and going up, as opposed to starting from the outer corner of the upper lash line. So that's the way I would traditionally do it. I'd start at the upper corner and go out. But when you apply it from the outer corner of the lower lash line, not only does it make the wing straighter, it makes the wing smoother. And what I found to be really effective by doing this technique is I was able to get the wings to match a lot more easily on both sides. That was something I had not expected, but I was really happy with this technique, and it looks like it does a great job of lifting the eye. So definitely try it. If you've struggled with wings or the placement has been right, give it a shot. I think you'd really like this one. I was also reading that mascara wands are really what makes the mascaras unique. So when you buy a high-end mascara, I'll just show you one of my favorites. Usually the wands are like the selling feature of the mascara. And I was reading from a few makeup artists that said that's really what you want to pay attention to when it comes to mascara. You can use a wand with any formula out there and you'll still get the same performance. So they were saying to take your wands, wash them off, clean them, and then use them with a cheaper formula and you'll get similar results. So that was what I tried out in the example I'm going to show you here. The Lancome Monsieur Big waterproof mascara is one of my favorites, and I do really love the brush on it. But what I did was I used the brush with the Blvd volumized waterproof mascara, which is a $5 formula. And I'll be doggoned, it worked just as well as the Lancome one does. Now I do feel like the Lancome formula is a little thicker. It is, but if I were gonna save money, because I'm in that phase, I'm gonna have to do this because I'm getting ready to throw my Lancome one out, I would keep looking for a formula like the Monsieur Big and just use the brush instead, because the results were very similar and I was really happy with that tip. Another tip I found to be helpful that I hadn't really thought about before was changing your foundation based on the time of year. So depending on your skin type, the same foundation that you use in summer may not be right for you in winter, and the same foundation you use in winter may not be right for you in summer, because your skin does change. And I noticed that my skin dries out more in the winter months as opposed to the summer months when I'm a lot more oily. So it makes sense. So if you've struggled in either of those seasons, I would recommend looking to find a foundation specifically for that season, your skin type, your skin issue, whatever you're dealing with, and it'll help your makeup last longer and look better. Now, one of the things I am so bad about, and I've had a lot of correction from people about, is how I hold my eyeshadow brushes. Now this is me, right? This is how I hold my eyeshadow brushes. I hold them very close to the bristles. This is not how you're supposed to hold them. Most makeup artists would come and slap me on my hands. If they saw me hold my brush like this, they would. But the way that you're supposed to hold it is further back on the handle. So right about here, like this, is how you want to hold your brush as you are applying your makeup. Why? Because it gives you greater control. I know you wouldn't think so. I didn't think so, which is why I fought this concept for the longest time, but I've started trying to do it more and more recently, and not only does my hand get less tired, but it does provide really beautiful results, and I'm not using as much movement as I was before. Another way to improve your eyeshadow application is to pay attention to how far you extend it out past the outer corner. So the general rule of thumb is if you take a eyeshadow brush, line it up with the outer corner of your eye and connect it to the tip of your brow, that's the line that you should not go past with your eyeshadow. You want to keep your eyeshadow in that space on the eye. Reason being, if you go outside of that line, then you can end up with droopy looking eyes. It can make your eyes look tired. It can make your eyes look heavy. And so it's really best to stay in the parameters, color in the lines, if you will. This next tip is one that I hadn't really thought about before making this video, but it makes sense. And that is to angle your mirror upwards for a more flattering appearance. So I know you've done this before. Have you ever had your phone with you and then you get the camera going somehow and then you find a lovely selfie of yourself later and all you see is this, you know, like everything from here up. It is not flattering for anybody. That's essentially the same thing with mirrors. Most of us tend to apply our makeup looking down in a mirror, and if you're looking down, I mean, yeah, you get a lot of bad shadows, bad angles, and it's not very motivating or inspiring when you're applying your makeup. So just elevating your makeup mirror a little bit will give you a more flattering appearance, and yeah, it's just better looking. Unless you're like me when you apply eyeliner and you feel like you need to look down more, that's always been the case for me, but I mean, hey, do it at your own discretion. You gotta find out what works for you. Last tip I have to share with you is the difference between oily skin and dry skin when you're choosing a foundation. It really does make a world of difference. If you have oily skin, okay, if you're looking for a foundation that will last, this is what you need to look for. Oily skin should use water-based foundations. And if you have dry skin, you should use oil-based foundations. And those foundations will give you the longest lasting, best performing results. I've noticed that a lot with my own oily skin. When I choose water-based formulas, they far outweigh any others, and they perform exceedingly well. If you're wondering how to tell the difference between a water-based foundation and an oil-based foundation, you want to look to the ingredient list and pay attention to about the first 5 ingredients that you see on the list. You'll always see water listed because water helps makeup to blend, so that's not going to be your indicator as to whether or not a product is water-based or oil-based, because it's always going to be there. What you want to look for are silicone ingredients. So if in the first 5 ingredients you see words with cone or silo, that will tell you that it is a silicone-based makeup product and it's not water-based. Additionally, if you see oil listed in the first 5 ingredients of a makeup product, then you will know that it is oil-based. If you do not see oil or silo or cone in those first 5 ingredients, then it is water-based. Let me know if you've tried any of these out, or if you have a tip that you feel like is not widely known that many people don't know about but should know about. Would love to hear your comments on this topic also. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hang out with me more in the future, you are always welcome to subscribe, because I'll be here. I hope you enjoyed this video today and the new Valentine's Day decor. I am loving it, okay? Loving it. These hearts came in, by the way. They're like these curtain lights. And when I first opened the box, I was like, holy moly, because the hearts literally in person, they're like this big. They were ginormous. And I was like, that's going to be way too big behind me. But it's not. It came out really well. I found them on Amazon. So if you just search for like heart curtain lights or whatever, they're really pretty. And they take a bit to untangle. I'm going to warn you now. But it wasn't too bad. And yeah. I feel like they're the perfect touch. So anyway, I hope that you're doing great and that you have a beautiful week ahead. I'm trying to talk. I'm speaking love, peace, and joy into you and into your home, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.